Earth, fire, air.
The four bending arts, as we all know, are very different from each other, but they're also similar in some aspects. In Avatar The Last Airbender, we can see these differences and how the characters move and fight. Water is based on Tai Chi, evidence from the flexible, loose and free movement of waterbenders. Hey, thinking about it now, I know Tai Lee has been associated with airbending before, but is it possible that she's also half waterbender? Let me know what you think in the comments. Earthbending also has a very rigid and strong approach to it, as you can see from the Earthbenders' movements. It is a result of being based on the Hongam martial arts style of southern China. Firebending also it requires power, but also peace, precision, and perfection. So it is clearly based off of the northern Shaolin style. And airbenders have majestic movements, but those movements are also very powerful, and they are similar to the Baguazhang martial arts style. The four elements are viewed very differently though. For the most part in Avatar The Last Airbender, for example, water is often described as a source of all life, and indeed, without water, the creation of life as we know it is possibly impossible. Thus, you can see like waterbenders having the sub skill of healing. Yeah. Also, in the first two books of Avatar The Last Airbender, fire was mainly portrayed as an instrument of destruction and a tool used to harm others. This notion was excellently portrayed by the creators when they used Zhong Zhong and his beliefs. And also, the whole of Book 1, Episode 16, The Desire, where Zhong Zhong was introduced, that episode was used to portray fire in this dark light, with Commander Zhao destroying all his ships and Aang not even attacking, being an airbender. This notion also reflects the modern view on fire, and this notion reflects the modern view on fire, and it was excellently put out there by the creators for viewers to see. Thus, the sub-skill of firebenders is a very destructive lightning. But on the contrary also, in 171 AG, when Korra was attacked by dark spirits and washed up on Banti Island in the Fire Nation, she was healed by an elderly shaman who used firebending to unlock chi parts in the body that allowed the chi to flow. Kind of what Guru Pathik and was trying to explain to Aang using the pawns when they were at the Eastern Air Temple in Book 2 of Avatar The Last Airbender. Also, in many cultures' mythologies, there are stories about the discovery and granting of fire, like the one about Prometheus in Greek mythology, where he stole fire and Zeus punished him for eternity. Also, in the days when fire was essential for people's survival, there likely was a different view on fire, which is kind of reflected by the ancient culture of the Sun Warriors. So, the 100-Year War era kind of reflects modern day views on fire, and ancient cultures like the Sun Warriors reflect what ancient cultures of our world, how ancient cultures of our world saw fire as something needed for survival. My point here is while water can heal and save lives by stopping fire, fire can save you from freezing to death. As we saw Zuko using it in the Northern Water Tribe and even at the Boiling Rock. Waterbenders can also kill you with ice and save you with healing powers. Firebenders can kill you with heat or lightning, but they can save you from the cold, and they can even use fire healing on you. There are also similarities between firebending and airbending. While airbenders are easily the most spiritual ones of all the four nations, they have the strongest bond to their elements. The only other benders that are shown in the whole Avatar universe meditating to improve their bending and connect with their elements as fire are firebenders. I just wonder if that is why the Fire Lords always sit in a meditative position in the royal throne. We saw Fire Lord Azulon, Fire Lord Sozin, and even Fire Lord Oza, and even up to Zuko. They would sit, even Azula when she was interim Fire Lord for a while, she would sit in a meditative position in the royal throne room. Let me know what you think about that. That is just my theory. Earthbenders are also portrayed as the least spiritual benders. It makes sense considering that they have to be literally grounded to be better. Okay, yeah, now that that's out of the way, fire is the only bending art not in need of an external material to bend. Its source is the bender's chi itself, which might explain the stronger relationship between the bender's emotion and his bending. Thus, the bigger need for spiritual cleansing by meditation, as the Fire Lords used to do. We have seen Katara's emotions unintentionally triggering her bending, which is even how they discovered Aang. Just wanted to think that if Sokka didn't just leave his dirty socks around, then the 100 Years War would have been more than 100 years. But for most of Book 1, it's like Zuko's emotions were damping his firebending potential. It all made sense though in Book 2 when we were introduced to Azula's calm and collected aura. Iroh then proceeded to tell us that rage is not the source for firebending, but calm and collectedness. Kinda why Azula was so perfect until the end when she almost went bananas. Water and earth are kinda solid elements. I mean, water is a liquid, but yeah, you get what I mean. Water and earth are kinda solid elements, while fire and air are not tangible. They have never I've never used this word before, but correct me if I'm wrong here. Alright? I would like to argue that this might have an influence on the spiritual bonding between the benders and their elements. Earth and fire bending are much more offensive bending styles than water and air bending. Water and air bending tend to be more defensive. That's why you can see the closed fighting styles or positions of waterbenders and airbenders compared to the more aggressive fighting styles of earthbenders and firebenders. Something that is interesting is, while earth is only associated with the ground and air is mainly associated with the sky, firebending features fire, which is normally found on the ground, and lightning, which is normally found in the sky. And waterbending is found in form of fluid water on the ground and in gaseous form in the air and sky, like we saw Aang and Katara bending the clouds in the Fortune Teller chapter episode 14 of Book 1. And the sky, it is found in gaseous form in the air and sky, but comes also in fluid form from the sky as raindrops. Just connect those dots and tell me what you think. So I hope you guys have an idea of what I'm trying to talk about. Maybe you have some things to add or comments. Feel free to do that down below. Like and subscribe to support me and stay tuned for the next upload.